So today we want to talk about franchising as an effective investment tool for both the franchisee and for the franchisor. And of course, they have different takes on how they manage the money, but this presentation would work for both. So let's just start. And I always like to start my presentations with this quote from Tom Peters. Tom Peters wrote a really very popular book called In Search of Excellence. But I love this quote: "The only learning experience is the experience of continuous learning." So we all continue to learn, and and again, life is a mutual learning experience. I learn from you. I learned so much from Noor and Nada, and we'll continue to learn together through the process of building the franchise system. Now, from your point of view as a franchisor, franchising is important because it creates an additional source of income through payment of franchise fees, royalties, and levies, and in addition to sourcing the proprietary products or private label products like we do in another. This money that comes to our business improves our cash flow, definitely, yeah? And it brings more, a better return on investment. And of course, it increased sales and profits. So these are the benefits to a franchisor. It also means resources for research and development. So how you're going to use this money is to re-inject some of it into the business so you can improve on it on everyday basis. More research, more development, more new products, new promotions, new ideas. And of course, it helps to reduce the operating cost and advertising and marketing cost. And it helps with the standardization of operation and establish consistent quality standards, and of course stronger purchasing power. Definitely, when you're buying for one store, it's not like you're buying for 10 stores or 100 stores. And overall, it helps in reduce competitive effects. So these are the benefits from your point of view as a franchisor. Now, the franchisee, and when I say the franchisee in this slide, because some of the investment goes to you, some of the franchisee investment goes to the franchisor. So of course there are corporate expenses, as we have explained or we have shown in the financial study. Corporate expenses such as head office expenses and so forth. There is the franchise fee, which is paid to the franchisor. The franchise package cost, which is like the training and the support in relation to store designs and operating manuals and so forth. The cost of training. Of course, all of these can come under the franchise fee, or sometimes they call it license fee or entry fee or country development fee or whatever. Then they have their own expenses, which is staff accommodation, supply chain, making sure that the product arrives at the store at the right time. And of course, there are the pre-operating expenses and the initial inventory, which they buy from the franchisor or its nominated suppliers, and the launch marketing plan. So this is basically on a corporate level. Now, on a store level, it's a little bit different because now he established the platform to launch the business when he invested on a corporate level. Now, on a store level, he's going to build the store. So there is the architecture, finishing and contracting. There is the decor and fitting. There's the furniture, fixture and accessories. equipment, smallware, signage, point of sale software, and delivery system and vehicles. And that's again generic. It can work for both retail and food and beverage. So that's why it has the delivery system and vehicles and equipment and the smallware, which are more related to food and beverage. Now, expenses. There are variable expenses. Again, part of this franchisee expenses are paid to you, like the royalty and marketing levy. Of course, they highlighted in bold is product packaging and cost. And then the most maybe costly item in his profit and loss statements is the payroll and benefits. And then, of course, there is the local store advertising, marketing and promotion, repair and maintenance, administration and general utility and bank charges. But on the other side, there are fixed expenses, which whether he generates sales or not, or generates less sales or more sales, he still has to pay this money. So the rent, which is again a big number in the profit and loss. There is the pre-operating expenses amortized over a number of years or taken from year one. And of course, there is depreciation for the building of the store. And there is stationery, operating literature, legal expenses, accounting expenses, travel and communication, transport, insurance and business development and renovation. So these are fixed costs. Of course, after the variable cost level, there is the house profit or gross profit. And then after both levels, the variable and fixed, there would be a net profit. That's the structure. Now, talking about money management, again, we're talking here to both the franchisor and the franchisee. So the franchisor needs to have enough money to be able to support a network of profitable franchisees at the beginning, because the money you're making on the franchise fee and so forth may not be enough for you to help the first level franchisees. And here I want to mention, once people start franchising, I'd love this corporate bragging, and it's about, you know, management team traveling first class and staying in 7-star hotels and having food and luxury restaurants and so forth. That's corporate bragging, and I've seen this so many times with many franchisors that they think once they start franchising, money will start coming in, and they start spending on unnecessary items. Then that leads us to overspending in general. So when you manage a franchise system, you need to manage your profit and loss very carefully. Make sure that you are able to control all items, all expense items as much as you can do. What you want to do is to maintain a healthy cash flow. That's the bottom line. You have to have the enough money for financial backing for any situation or crisis or something that may happen in the future. And then you need to manage your suppliers. And of course, suppliers management is another story where you manage your credit terms, how you pay, and so forth. And again, that goes for both the franchisee and the franchisor. And then expanding to new markets and locations, which is the most important objective of what we do. Now, on a store level, whether you are the franchisor, then you have the own stores, or the franchisee. Then you have the business model. Well, in this case, we have uh, the boutique, we have the gallery, we have the mini boutique, and we have even different smaller sizes in terms of kiosks and so forth. So on a store level, you also need to manage your money. What would be the optimum store size? How you negotiate rent agreements, and rent can be phenomenal in some cases, and can affect the bottom line of the profit and loss statement. What you need to do is to exercise great control and try to minimize the variable costs. Fixed costs, maybe you cannot control it over a shorter time, but you may want to manage it on a longer time. Again, over or underspending on marketing. Sometimes people spend too much, and there is money wasted because you're overspending, trying to reach everybody in the market whilst they're not within your market segment, or do not meet your client profile. Again, underspending is also not so good, because you want to spend the right amount of money to reach the right market, to reach the right clientele. And then the most important is the quality of products and services that you're offering. This is where you need to spend your money to make sure that you meet the quality standards. And of course, growing customer base by making them happy and satisfied with your products and customers, and products and services, and in general customer service. So this is where you spend your money. And of course, there is this quote at the bottom: a banker is a person who's willing to give you a loan if you present them with the sufficient evidence to show that you don't need it. This is what happens in real life, right? They don't give you money until, and when you have money, people start calling you. They want to give you more money. Okay, so managing your franchise. These are a few points to alert you. Most failures result from undercapitalization, whether you are a franchisor or whether you are a franchisee. If you're undercapitalized and you think as a franchisor that money will start coming in and you start selling tens and hundreds of locations, this is not true. You need to have sufficient funds to support the first level franchisees, whether or not you make enough money from the franchise system. As a franchisee, again, if the franchisee is undercapitalized and doesn't have the sufficient funds to support the first store and maybe the store development plan, then the business will be in trouble. Then what you need to do is allocate appropriate funds before starting your franchise business. In our case, I think your management has taken the necessary steps and been able to manage that in a very good way so far. And of course, it costs money to make money. So if you want to make money from granting franchises, you have to invest, and we have the financial study that supports this presentation, which we'll talk about in a few. Then it takes time to get the business up and running. That goes for the franchisor. So nothing happens in one day. You will not start making money from the franchise the next day. Same thing for the franchisee. The franchisee per store may not be making money in the first or second year, because simply franchising is a medium term business. But there are franchisors that they grant franchises very quickly without having the right infrastructure to support the network of franchisees. And the business breaks because simply you have many franchisees to support, but you don't have the right team, not the right structure, not the production capacity, not the supply chain system, not the support team that goes and help them with the openings and the running of the business. So again, this could be a problem. You need to manage speed. So on one side, we say that it takes time, and we need to manage that. But we need to manage through learning the process. You've been in fashion business for some time now, and you have mastered your own business, but you will have to learn through the process of granting franchises. Again, we use the word sell a franchise. I personally prefer the word grant a franchise rather than sell, because it's not about selling. It's about finding the right partner and granting the rights to use the trade name, trademark, the business system, and the right to use the products and services. And there is this beautiful quote: 99% of failure comes from people who have the habit of making excuses. Yeah, I mean, many people, they fail because they don't understand what is the real reason behind their failure. But we understand that it's about undercapitalization, not enough money, speed, not being patient enough to make sure that the business is making a good return on investment over a period of time, and so forth. Now, you need to be aware that franchising costs money to research, establish, and develop a sound franchise system until such time you have a sufficient number of franchise locations. So there is this balance. The first, say, 10 franchisees may not help you or allow you to make enough money at the beginning. There is a balance. Maybe you start making money and it's different from one business to another, but from the 5th store onward or from the 10th store onward. But once you pass the first level franchisees and start, then the money coming from franchising will be meaningful. So what you need to do is allocate sufficient before starting a franchise business, as most failures result from undercapitalization, which is again mentioned before. Now, one final tip, and that's general. You need to prove that your business is successful and profitable. Prove to who? Prove to the franchisee. This is what they want. They don't like your business because it's colorful and artful and so forth. They like it because it makes money. This is what people in business for. They want to make money. Then I believe in something called geographical clustering, which means you need to grow your network of franchisees in the neighboring countries. You don't have to stretch yourself so far and go to remote areas because it costs more money. So expand your own in your own market. This is why they call it homegrown. And maybe your own market now is GCC. So that's legit. And then you need to start in your own market. Like, let's say this is our priority GCC before you start expanding into further territories. And do you want me to read this quote? Half the world is composed of people who have something to say and can't, and the other half who have nothing to say but keep saying it. And I find this really interesting. Some people just they talk about things that don't understand and nobody's interested in. And that's my presentation for today. Thank you very much.